Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by lush green forests, there lived a girl named Lila. She was kind-hearted and mysterious, always wandering into the woods and returning with tales of strange sights. Lila had a secret, one so deep and strange that even the closest villagers couldn't suspect. Her twin brother, Soren, wasn't a boy like everyone thought. He was a green snake. When they were born, their mother had whispered the secret into Lila's ear before she passed away. "Protect him," she said, her voice frail. "He's special. Different. But he's still your brother." Lila grew up loving Soren with all her heart. Though he was a snake, he had a human soul. He could understand her, and sometimes, in the moonlight, she swore she could hear him whisper back. Soren lived in the forest, hidden from the villagers, but every night, he slithered home to Lila's window, curling up by her side as she sang him to sleep. For years, their secret was safe. The villagers admired Lila's intelligence and bravery, and they often wondered why she never married or left the woods behind. Some thought she was lonely, others believed she had a strange connection to the forest. But no one could have guessed the truth. One fateful day, a boy from the village, curious and reckless, followed Lila into the woods. He watched as she knelt beside a massive green snake, feeding it berries and stroking its scales like it was her own blood. The boy fled in terror and spread the word. "The witch has a snake for a brother," he cried to the villagers. Panic spread like wildfire. The villagers, who once greeted Lila with warm smiles, now turned their gazes into cold glares. They whispered of curses and dark magic, of how the snake must be a demon sent to bring ruin to their home. Fear gave way to anger, and soon, they decided the snake and Lila had to go. That evening, as Lila sat by her window waiting for Soren, she heard the distant roar of voices. Flames flickered in the distance, and the sound of heavy footsteps grew louder. Soren arrived, sensing the danger, his emerald eyes wide with fear. "Lila," he hissed softly. "They are coming." Lila grabbed her brother and ran into the woods, but the villagers were relentless. They carried torches, pitchforks, and weapons, their faces twisted with fear and fury. "You lied to us," shouted the village leader. "You've harbored a monster in our midst." Lila stood her ground, her heart pounding. "Soren is not a monster. He's my brother. He's done nothing to harm you." But her words fell on deaf ears. The villagers charged, their anger blinding them. Soren coiled protectively around Lila, his fangs bared, but he refused to strike. He didn't want to hurt anyone. The forest seemed to come alive, sensing the injustice. The trees groaned, their branches stretching downward to shield the siblings. The earth trembled, causing some villagers to falter. But their hatred burned too fiercely, and they pressed on. In the chaos, Lila shouted, "If you want him, you have to go through me." The villagers hesitated. Though they feared the snake, they also knew Lila, the girl who had once helped them, cared for their children, and mended their wounds. But their fear outweighed their memories, and one man lunged forward. Before he could strike, a blinding green light erupted from Soren's body. The villagers froze, shielding their eyes. When the light faded, Soren was no longer a snake but a young man, tall and gentle, with eyes that shimmered like emeralds. "I am no demon," Soren said. his voice calm but firm. I have lived among you in secret because I feared your hatred. But now you see me as I am. The villagers were stunned. Some dropped their weapons, shame creeping into their hearts. Others remained wary, their grip on their torches tightening. Lila stepped forward, her voice trembling but strong. Soren is my brother, no matter his form. He has done nothing to deserve your fear or your anger. If you cannot accept him, then you cannot accept me. The village leader hesitated, his expression torn between fear and guilt. Finally, he lowered his torch. Leave this place, he said. Both of you. The village cannot accept such unnatural things. Lila and Soren exchanged a glance, their hearts heavy but resolute. Together, they turned and disappeared into the forest, the place that had always been their true home. The villagers returned to their lives, but whispers of regret lingered in the air. As for Lila and Soren, they found refuge deeper in the woods, where the trees stood tall and ancient, and the animals roamed free. In their new sanctuary, they lived in peace, knowing they had each other. The forest embraced them, a haven for those who were different, where love could thrive beyond fear and hatred.